name is Vivi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I know it's been a while since I've been on here, and so I thought I'd do a favorites video. That's sort of like a review video as well. So I'm going to be reviewing or sharing some tarot decks and some makeup. I've been working on the Suit of Pentacles. Sorry, I have like lip balm and my hair is sticking to it. I've been working on a tarot deck, the Mystic Path Tarot, and I'm almost done with it. If you're on my Instagram, you've been seeing the card reveals, but I haven't done too many official ones on YouTube yet. It's just so much, like my work-life balance is not there, and it was a couple months ago, but I just had my wedding, and so everything's been kind of like, I don't know, I'm not a grounded person, but I've been working on the Suit of Pentacles, or the Suit of Earth, and trying to connect with that earthy, grounded energy, you know? And I haven't been very successful. And actually one of these decks I feel like is super ungrounded. And it's only been making things worse. But that's okay. I have another deck that I'll share that actually has been grounding. Okay, so let's just get into it. The first deck I want to share is actually over here. This is a grounding deck. It's the Gaian Tarot. And I think I've shared it before. This is the, what's it called? The indie version. I got this directly from the artist and author Joanna Powell Colbert. I need to get my nails filled. I've been doing them since I got married, and now I'm at the point where it just takes so much time to sit in the chair and get it done, and it's also kind of out of our budget. I shouldn't be spending money on nails right now. So I'm at the point where I'm considering getting like press-on nails because I like the way they look. Yeah, so if you have any recommendations for press-on nails, let me know down below. Okay, anyways, the deck is the Gaian Tarot, and it's very earthy, like based in the natural world. I actually had the, what's it called? The mass market version with me on a road trip we took in 2020. We were on the road for like nearly 2 months in our van, and we were social distancing like in the wilderness type of thing. And I had this deck with me to help me connect with that Gaian Mother Earth energy, to help me learn from nature, you know? And so it was great. And I picked the original version up from the artist when I saw she was about to sell out, like out of stock. And sorry, doesn't this deck remind, I don't know if you guys saw my short film, but doesn't that remind you of Fernando from Scout's Honor? I love squirrels. Yeah, this deck has been amazing. I remember with this card, I was actually in the middle of the Mojave Desert when I pulled this card. And, you know, this is so like watery, and we were in the middle of like this like more fiery landscape, dry. And it was during the Cancer full moon or new moon. And I remember we were laying down on the roof of the van, and looking up at the sky, and like you can see all the stars. I live in the city, so you don't see any stars at night. You see some stars, but not like a blanket full of sparkly stars everywhere. And it was during the Cancer moon. Who knows if it was new or full. And And then I saw this little like hermit crab, and I was like, I put my feet up while we were laying down, and it was like I was walking on the like this ocean, and like the Cancer moon or the Cancer constellation was, I think it was on the horizon according to this app I have. Anyways, I felt like this little girl with her feet in there, and yeah, watery, and like a lot of inner child emotional stuff was coming to the surface. Yeah, so this deck like speaks to me in such a like, I don't know, fascinating way. Let's see, I'll show you 1, 2 more cards. Yeah. Let's see if like, I don't know, I have stories for so many of these cards. Okay. That was the Gaian Tarot, the indie version, and you can get the mass market version, which has blue borders on it. And you can trim them off because they're not pretty. The borders are not pretty. Okay. I got this the other day. I wasn't shopping for a deck. But then I saw it. We were in Barnes and Noble. And I was like, I've never heard of this deck. What is it? Nobody's talked about it. It's the Cosmo Tarot by Cosmopolitan magazine. And it says the ultimate deck and guidebook. The art, I don't know who the art is by. It's, I think, by the staff of Cosmopolitan. And let's see. The book, though, is by, I think, someone who does their, it's a little book. The person who does their, like, tarot stuff. I don't read Cosmopolitan magazine. Cosmo. But I think they have, like, someone who does, like, a tarot, maybe astrology section. And her name is Sarah Potter. And I have heard of her. I've seen her around on Instagram. And I think she posts about like witchy stuff. And so, yeah. And I read through this, and this is a great book if you're starting out reading tarot. The deck, though, is not good for, no, it's a good deck, but it's not good if you're just starting reading tarot, if you need like visual cues, because, well, I'll get into it. So let me show you the book a little more. By the way, the Gaian Tarot book is great. Really good. Really good. She even talks about how the numerological structure that she uses and how that applies. So that's a really great book. This is also a great book for getting started because it tells you how to ask questions and like those like FAQs, you know, the frequently asked questions when you're getting started. I feel like there are some spreads. They're okay. It's like past, present, future. And then like the 5-card spread is an expansion of the past, present, future spread. Yeah, it's okay for that. But the tarot meanings are really succinct and like, let me read you the Fool. Sometimes it's nice not knowing what to expect. So go with it. Enjoy the unknown. You see, like, basic, right? It's simple to the point, and each one is presented like advice. And then it has an upside down, not a reverse, upside down. So the reverse meaning is don't let your naivete, I don't know how to say that word, naivete. I think that's right. Don't let that turn into thoughtless decisions. Right? It's awesome. Something that's not great for beginner readers is it's not numbered, though. The major arcana are not numbered, but they are in the order of the Fool's Journey. So if you're not familiar with that, it's not in alphabetical order, so it'll be like take you some time to find it. So that's the only downside of the guidebook when it comes to new readers. Okay, let's look at the cards. They're so little. I love this like size. This reminds me of maybe the Osho Tarot, Osho Zen Tarot, the size, right? That seems, I'm not gonna get it. It's 2 feet that direction. I'm not gonna get up. This is the card backs. They're not reversible, but I think you can, I don't read with reversals or upside downs as this book says, but I don't know, you could. It's not a big deal. It's just there's like these 2 stars and these 2 stars that are like, you can tell which one is, like, I know this is up. Anyways, here's the other side. Okay, so they're not in order. By the way, when you buy it, they're not in order either. And I did put them in order, but then like I couldn't wait to read with the deck before making this video, and then I just wanted to make the video because it's been so long since I made a video, and I was like, if I don't just do it, I'm not gonna do it. Here we are. So as you can see, it looks like Cosmo magazine. It's like beauty and like, I don't know, like mystical witch type aesthetic. So the major arcana all has this black background, and it all has that star. See, you can recognize that. Those are the same 2 stars from here. So they're all the same background. And then the minor arcana has a negative. So it's a white background, but it's still the starry image that is used for the card backs. And then all the borders are color coded. So the majors have a peach border, and then the people in it are in color. There's diamonds, and then there's gold frames. But then the minors, the people in it are in grayscale. And then there's also a color that's seen throughout the whole suit. So like this is the suit of wands, which is interesting that they chose a green border for the suit of wands. But you can see that's all grayscale, and then there's like a peachy pop, and then grayscale, either eyes, hands, lips, that kind of stuff. And then the wands are all keys. The cups are cups. The swords are pens. And I like this. I actually pulled another deck because it reminded me of the Inspired Soul Tarot. This deck, Inspired Soul Tarot, is by Juli from PeekabooRose on YouTube. Most people, I think, subscribe to her. And she has that as well for the whole suit of swords. It's all pens with the air elemental. And so I was looking at how she did the pens and how they were doing the pens. And I'm probably going to explore the suit of swords a little more deeply, comparing the 2. Okay, so something about this deck. Juli's, I think, has more of like, not Marseille. I don't know. Is that Marseille? I don't know if that's the layout for the Marseille deck. But this one follows more of a Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's still like a pip deck. Even the majors are not scenic or illustrated. So like, this is the 7 of Swords. You can see like the 2 swords left behind, and then the 5 swords the person is sneaking away with. You can see that, right? 5 swords sneaking away, and then the 2 swords left behind. So it's inspired by that. But basically, it feels like a graphic designer made this deck because everything is cohesive, color-coded, and certain elements are just consistent all the way through. But as you can see, like the Hierophant here, I don't feel like it really conveys the meaning, but you can, if you sit with it, you can find meaning in it, right? Because our brains are primed to do that, especially with tarot. So like, I don't know. Like the only thing I can think of is like a sense of duality, but I associate that more with the High Priestess. But then like if I apply the meaning of teacher or community leader to it, it could be, I don't know, her eyes closed and behind her there's like a mirror, but it's a diamond reflecting. So I don't know, it could be like a spiritual teacher who teaches about how we're all a reflection of each other, and close your eyes and look within. I don't know, I could wax poetic about it. But you can find meaning in it. Oh, I want to talk about the Suit of Pentacles. This blew my mind. Like I said, I've been working with Pentacles and I'm not very grounded. And this deck kind of made me even more ungrounded because it's like a clock. And that blew my mind because it's like, oh, time is money, right? And not only is time money, but like the material world is inherently connected to time, right? Space-time. If you look at the working theory of how the universe came to be, the current working theory that is accepted amongst the scientific community is the Big Bang Theory. And that's when space-time came into existence. And it's called space-time, not space and time, but space-time are interrelated. Now, I think there's a working theory, like there's a quantum Big Bang Theory that's being developed in which it says like there was a dying universe before that was contracting, and then the remnants of that expanded very fast, and then that's our universe now, which actually makes more sense to me. So we have the Ace of Pentacles, a seed. Even a seed to grow into a tree, it takes time. So everything in the Suit of Pentacles takes time. That's the end result, right? The end result is like you have this inheritance to pass on to future generations, whether it be like a physical inheritance or like just the wisdom of how you gained your material wealth. You can pass that wisdom on to future generations. But it takes time. Also, this representation of Pentacles made me think, so I do all kinds of editing. And so I had to first find a value for my time and then give an hourly of how much I decided how much an hour is worth. And then also the more important thing is I have to tell people how many hours I think that will take me to do that project. So like the last project took me 7.5 hours, and then you build in some time for like, I don't know, you can decide how to do your hourly wage, right? But then you kind of have to track how long it takes you to do certain things and then give a quote. And so if you're an entrepreneur, that's how you value your time. You decide how many hours does it take, and then, you know, you quote it. Now, the tarot deck I'm working on, that is taking me so long. And I spend a lot of time on each card or each suit because I like to make a story through the whole suit. You can see the Suit of Swords or the I Am Truth short film I have on this channel. That everything takes me a long time, but also the time I'm putting into that has reward for me. So it's like, also like you have to consider the value of your time and what you're getting back for putting that time in. So making my tarot deck, I'm probably not going to price it according to how much time it actually took me to make it, because it would be so expensive. And I also got a lot of value out of the creative process. So, you know, I've already reaped the rewards of, you know, like how much time I put into it. So yeah, I don't know. I really like that. Okay. So the next deck I wanted to show you, the Moon Baby Tarot. I got this as a Kickstarter. And look at those pink edges. So this is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. And I just adore the coloring. I've been obsessed with the deck that this is based on, which is the Hoi Polloi Tarot. But it's never been in my budget. And this deck is like an updated, cleaner version of it with like way cute coloring. I love it. I love it so much. And let me show you the card I got with it. It was a Kickstarter, so they include extras with it sometimes. I got a tie-dye spread cloth, and I also got a print of one of the cards. And I flipped out when I opened the box. I was so happy because not only is this a deck I've wanted forever. This is made by Brant, I think Palazzo is his last name. Moon Baby Tarot is his channel on YouTube. Not only have I wanted this, but the card I got with it like blew my mind. I was hoping I would get the Sun card, but I was actually way happier with this. I got the World card. And like part of me is like, oh, it's the completion of my desire to have the Hoi Polloi Tarot, right? The completion of that, and like everything that I've learned about tarot since I first saw that deck. And I'm a tarot nerd, if you can't tell. I'm very obsessed, and I think everyone who watches my channel is pretty obsessed as well. So hi family. This deck shuffles really well. By the way, this deck is good shuffling. The cardstock is better than the last deck I reviewed, which was the True Heart Intuitive Tarot. The Cosmo Tarot has like, it like pops back pretty nicely. So it has like a core. I think it has a core. Yeah, but it is a little thin. I don't know. I like it. This one shuffles incredibly. Let's see if I could do it in the air. Oh my God. I hope this doesn't go everywhere. This is a terrible idea. Yeah, that was a bad idea. But yeah, it shuffles really nicely. Take my word for it. Oh, this deck also shuffles really nicely. I know I didn't review this deck, but it shuffles really nicely. This is like a make playing cardstock. And this deck shuffles like shit. It's impossible to shuffle, but I just do it like this instead. These are like altar sized cards, so yeah. I only pull one card, and I actually usually put it on my altar, and then I really sit with it. And I want to show you the deck bag that I have for this deck. The deck of my dreams. I literally had to get a beautiful deck bag for it. So this is by Moonlit Faye. I saw this on Instagram and like picked it up ASAP. It has a little bit of wrinkles from being used. I used it. I didn't buy it used. But yeah, you can place it in here. You can use this as a reading space, but I don't do that. It's too small. But I love like the orange because it just matches those like orange pops. So like it fits in perfectly. And then you wrap it around, and then let me just tie it up real fast so you can see. I really think this deck bag is so cute. I'm worried that the white ribbon is going to get dirty, but the whole thing is made of fabric, so I could just probably toss it in the wash. My plan is just to avoid touching it with dirty hands. Like right after I do my makeup, I'm probably not going to touch it because my hands are like always covered in makeup after. Isn't that so cute? Oh my gosh, I want to show you guys. Okay, no. Go on my Instagram page and you can see the decks I've been using for Halloween. It's the Halloween Tarot and the Witchlings Oracle. I've been having so much fun with those for Halloween. But anyways, makeup. Let's stay focused. You can see the makeup I did, right? So I'm just going to show you what I used for that, because I've been using this since I've picked it up. And that is, hair. That is the Hocus Pocus palette, eyeshadow palette from, it's called ColourPop. And I think most people who use makeup know about this, but if you're thinking about getting into makeup and having fun with it, allow me to introduce you. This is the Gather Round Sisters palette, and it's the one they had last year. They have a new one this year. I feel like if you collect tarot, you can understand this. People in the makeup community collect these tarot palettes, and look, it looks like one of those. It looks like, you know, like packaging of a tarot deck, but it's actually eyeshadow. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to say here. There's a whole community dedicated to this stuff. But look at that. Isn't that so pretty? I love the eyeshadows. Like, I want to make art with them. So I do it on my eyes. I used, what colors did I use? I used more reds today. These two. And I used a little bit of this gold right there. But in the corner, I put, where is it? That color. It's like shimmer. It's called Wench. And I used this just to like get the even things out. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a makeup artist. But look, there's the 3 witches from Hocus Pocus, the movie. I fell asleep watching that movie, actually. All the colors are listed on the back. And something interesting I've learned about recently. I've actually been sharing a lot about this on Instagram. But a lot of the depictions of witches were based on like ostracized Jewish women in Europe. Now, okay, so the depictions are also based on like alewives. So like women who used to make beer, I think, and then they were like vilified by, I don't know, the patriarchy. Like more male dominant beer making companies like made them, like vilified them or something. But anyways, what predates that is the Jewish stereotypes. So you also, oftentimes you see like characters who are coded as Jewish based on like anti-Semitic type of descriptors that people had for Jews back in Europe. Back in the day when Jews were expelled from Judea, and then a lot of them went to different parts of Europe. So like the pointy witch's hat, none of the witches in Hocus Pocus wear that hat though. But the pointed witch hat is based on something called the Juden hat. I don't know. I think that might be German. But I'll post a picture right here. I didn't know that. And so I learned that recently. And then also so you see my nose. They gave Jewish, like they say like hooked noses and big noses are a Jewish thing. It's actually a Levant region, Middle Eastern thing. So like they gave evil characters like big hooked noses. So like the Wicked Witch of the West. She also had the pointed hat, right? And you know, lots of characters. Who was it? The book The Witches, the children's book, had a lot of those Jewish coded type of things. But yeah, like the myth that was going around Europe, which was very Christian at the time and still is that Jews would kill Christian children and bake them into like matzah or something. And like, because Jews have Friday night, we light candles. It was like, oh, they're doing the Sabbath, I don't know, they made it like seem satanic. And it's also based on like mistranslations of the Jewish, the Tanakh. The Tanakh is, I think it's a combo, oh no, that's like the 5 books of Moses. It's like the Torah in book form. Don't quote me on that. but it was a mistranslation of that, where they thought Jews had horns. And yeah, because Jews were always like the outsiders in Europe. And so then Jews had to wear these pointed hats to differentiate themselves from the Christians, so that Christians would know who they are. And so then also anybody who was accused of, what was it? Heresy, being a heretic, would have to wear a Judean hat as punishment. The punishment was you have to look like a Jew. So like people who were pagan were punished, and non-Christians. So yeah, a little bit of Jewish history and witchy history. Okay, so that's, oh, the reason I thought about that too is because now I've been looking for like Jew coding, like CODE code. And I think these two actresses, Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker, are Jewish, right? And then I don't know what Mary is in real life, but yeah, interesting, huh? Okay, so that's the eyeshadow palette I used. Isn't it pretty? And then, okay, everything else except my lips are E.l.f. So eyes, lips, face, that's the name of the brand, E.l.f. And I'm only showing you this. I actually got this as a free gift a long time ago. I don't buy a lot of makeup. Actually, compared to some people, I probably do buy a lot of makeup actually. But everything I get is from E.l.f. because it's affordable. This was like $22, same as this tarot deck actually. But this is probably like $6. And this is a primer. Now, if you look at my skin, I know this is so close. I've done my makeup the past couple of days without this. And then today I was like, I'm going to make a video. Let's put this on. And the primer fills in your pores so that the foundation goes on more smoothly or more evenly. So you don't see your skin texture as much. And this actually really works. I didn't notice, like, I haven't noticed in the past, maybe my skin is getting worse, but I haven't noticed in the past how effective that is until I put it on today and I see the difference between my makeup yesterday without it and my makeup today, where you can't see my pores. My skin is not this even. It's because of this. And this one also has a tone adjusting thing. It's kind of purple. So like, I guess it adjusts like yellowy skin tone. Okay. And the lipstick I'm wearing, this is so old and gross. This is Wet and Wild. Let's put some more on. It's actually purple. Look at that. So, this has been in my purse since I lived in Chicago. This is called Sugar Plum Fairy 908C. And these lipsticks are very inexpensive. And the last thing I have is, so that you can't see this, but I'm wearing it. This is a oil roller. Just roll it on, and then oh, it smells so good. The flavor is, okay, so it's called Sunshine. And it's kind of more of a summery scent, but I really like it. It's by Fair Hinterland. And I follow her on Instagram. She's really cool. She's actually, I know her through Emmett, if you know Emmett on YouTube. This is how I know Brie. And this is uplifting blend for when you need a little sunshine. It has bergamot essential oil, orange, ylang ylang, spearmint, rosemary, and grapeseed oil. And it's so good. I was putting it on in the car, in the back seat of a car one time, and the person driving was like, "What is that? It smells so good." I was like, "It's Sunshine by Fair Hinterland." I didn't say that right. Whatever. Okay. What else can I show you? Here's a cup I got. I like it. Moons. Oh, lipstick, Wet n Wild. And this was a gift from my friend. She was my maid of honor, and she gifted me like a whole box of stuff when I got married. I have so much to update everyone on this channel. So much has happened, but I just want to talk tarot and makeup apparently. I have more stuff I want to show you, but like I feel like I just want to keep talking and like show stuff. Okay. Anyways, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I don't know, maybe I'll make another video pretty soon. Maybe not. I have to do a video about the Mystic Path Tarot. I need to just sit down and show you guys all the cards I've made so far. So maybe I'll do that next. Who knows? Okay. Bye.